มแล้วนาทีนะ
is starting on. If you don't see him on the blue buff, by process of elimination, you know he's going to just start on the top side down. And Kindred into Vi is such a fun matchup there, mostly for the Kindred side. So we'll see about the lane swap coming out. Kalista plus Blitzcrank up to the top side here. Meanwhile, rotation over to the other side, and it looks like it is going to be Kindred actually starting on technically their weak side.
And just path up towards the top side. Last time we saw a lane swap, both the junglers could just do full clears. We didn't see that invade that often you do see. Elkanon here going to be able to deny Zeus away from the wave. He immediately goes back just to help Oner with the Krugs. Gumayushi coming out this wave. Knight going in already, hit the level 2. Faker takes a chunk of his HP for the pleasure of stepping up in the lane.
Look at the position of Ben in the bot lane. He is hiding just off in the fog of war, but close enough to actually get a bit of experience. He's about half a bar towards that level 2. Keria, though, going to spot him out, actually walks up and says, no, going to deny that experience and try and mitigate it as much as possible. This is different from the typical lane swaps we've seen a lot at the World Championship. Similar to what we saw in the previous game, rather than splitting the map, as you guys were highlighting, it is going to be these jungle full clears, pathing away from their weak side of the map, which means the threat of a dive is a little bit lower. But I'm keeping my eye on Oner right now. The pings have come down from Jun that Oner is likely on his wolves. With the pressure the Knight has in mid lane, it becomes harder for Faker to be able to roam down to join in a potential early game dive.
BLG also pushed their wave quickly here, while T1 actually just the last hitting, just the slowly building, pushing wave. And so this one crashing a bit later into Bin. He's still going to be able to get his level 2 though, and Oner still being on Gromp means he's not currently under the extra pressure just yet. Plenty of time for the swap back here. Elkanon, they go for the recall after quickly pushing the wave like we talked about on top side into the rotation over.
Let's see if Shun does win out on the coin flip that happens with the first Scuttle Crabs when you're playing on this Kindred. You can see all time 35 and 15 on this. Pick, but it is a lot of weight to be put on his shoulder.
A kill onto him, definitely a good place to get that gold.
I just love to see that too, because you know, everybody in solo queue when you're playing against Kindred, you always focus so much on denying them their marks and stealing them their marks. But in this scenario, you actually give over even more than if you had just let him grab the scuttle. Mid lane prio, that's what it really comes back to. Knight there on the Galio, enabling his jungler again.
I will say, BLG burnt 3 flashes to do that. Oner only burnt 1, obviously to give across first blood, but there are some windows now where perhaps T1 can punish the fact that this Rumble in the top lane doesn't have a flash anymore, and you have a Jax with a flash and a Vi who can come in for the follow-up.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, Medic, because the bot lane of T1 have moved to the top side, knowing the grub spawning right now. The bot lane of BLG is also on their way. The wave is being pushed in mid, and BLG want to punish Faker.
Faker has flash, but the flash in from On into the pullback. Faker's down. On secures the kill.
We get to see some Blitzcrank value there. Goes in, immediately makes the play while Owner actually yoinked away one of the grubs. That's all you really need out of the first pack to at least put the threat of 4 on the second pack.
I mean, the good news from Faker's perspective is the kill went down to On. Bit of a mistiming on the Rend execution from Elk, meaning that he didn't quite have the damage to get the kill, so the Ignite ended up finishing it off. And Faker also didn't burn any summoners in that trade. He's now going to path up towards top, catch that wave as the bot lane of T1 transitions over to mid lane to match that of Elk and On.
2 marks here for Xun. Again, the 4th mark is where you get your nice range increase and you're fully operational. That's your big goal. And the Kindred here off to a very good start in this Kindred-centric comp. But there it is again.
I love the flash rocket punch because it really negates the ability for Faker to flash away. If you flash outside of the auto range, it's still going to connect, you still get knocked up, and then the grab comes out afterwards anyway.
Yeah, there was very little that Faker could do. He burnt everything to just try and push the wave out. And so I guess the good news as well is that BLG didn't have a wave to actually push the mid tower. So they were able to get a single grub, which is definitely still an advantage because it means that on the next grub spawn, you can still look to try and contest, maybe even get 3 grubs for yourself, bringing you up to potentially 4. In any case, we turn our attention towards the Dragon as the next major objective. 80 carries have moved towards the mid lane. You can see that Knight once again finds push on the bot side of the map, and it is going to be BLG to start this objective off.
Yeah, should be them finishing it off as well. I think it would be ridiculous for T1 to try and go contest that, so they just teleport up to the top side. Zayac will collect the minion wave there. No reason to throw anything else into this BLG fire that is growing in the early game.
So your sights on top lane as well. I thought Carrier was actually looking for a roam up towards top, but good vision coverage from T1 on that side of the map. It would be a situation where Bin is at risk of getting dived, but with the wave situated as it is, he's chosen to back off, going back to base, and knowing that he is prone for a dive. And I wonder if he's going to path back up towards mid, or if he sets his sights back on top lane. It looks like top lane is his plan.
And I want to see BLG continue with these aggressive looks. Because they are running the Galio here for Knight, it really enables the aggressive positioning from either Xun or On here, constantly looking for plays on T1 members in rotations, between those lanes swapping over. So let's see if they can actually make use of it. Currently, keeping On and Elk through mid lane here, trying to deny this cannon. And it does go down there. Nicely done.
Ultimately, though, it's a very even game state. Even though there is a small goal lead in favor of BLG, a lot of that is sitting in the top lane in favor of Bin, thanks to the early kill that he was able to get. But this is what we wanted to see. Both teams relatively even, setting up nicely for a Dragon.
I will say, at around the 10-minute mark in both the previous games, this was about the gold lead as well, Betty. So until we get past 15 minutes...
I'm going to be optimistic, Medic.
Cool. You want to be optimistic, I can understand that. It is relatively even right now, but often the game starts to explode around that 15-minute mark.
It certainly does. First items are going to be crucial. You'll notice that Bin looking to rush his Leandries, get that item completed as quickly as possible, something that we often see on these Rumbles, whereas the early prioritization on the Merc Treads from Zayac makes a lot of sense. Both the Galio and the Rumble, very valuable things to have Merc Treads against, but no major items completed just yet. The Grub spawning in about a minute's time, and Knight continuing to trade with Faker on the bot side of the map.
Both the teams just willing to have this push and pull between the waves, It's about getting towards those first items, getting towards the next neutral objective that's spawning. So although it looks like it's in action, it's just these small microcosms of action happening in each lane to try and find those minute advantages.
And now you got to check those reset timers actually just before the second pack of grubs. A little interruption there, and now Faker cancels his recall on the bomb side, so he's not going for his base preemptively. He goes back to deal with the wave that Knight is pushing up.
Bin getting a nice push here. Yeah. Is sitting on just short of 1,000 gold right now. He has the Rumble ultimate as well. He's going to use it to clear the wave. They're looking for a dive.
CP coming in, might just be looking for another plate here as well. Knight going in with the taunt. Bin doesn't really have much left. Put the damage down. Xun on his way across them and will have that Lamb's Respite. Zayac already down to 300 HP. Looking for a leap strike away, but Zayac falls. Knight takes the tower. Meanwhile, the hostile takeover goes just short of Elk as he flashes to safety. BLG able to survive down towards the bottom side.
Beautiful reward there for BLG getting their first.
Flash hook from On, they look for more. Faker goes back in, but the Hero's entrance will bring Knight coming crashing down. Faker down to 300 HP, Bin now has that flank position, and the Leandri's complete. Owner jumps onto him with the Bolt Breaker and is able to keep him away from Faker for the moment. Faker dashes across the wall. Carrier's life will be forfeit to keep Faker alive. Brings out the bailout, but falls immediately after. Faker trying to escape, Knight still on the chase.
So beautifully done there from BLG. As you say, they're not done yet. Still seeking Faker.
Oh, but he didn't spot him. He doesn't actually know if he interrupted him or not. He's fishing for him. He's hunting. He wonders if Faker's
Knight
still
goes
here.
back, now he's seen him. Where are you going to go, Faker? Already absconded, already abducted. Elk is on his way to try and accept this kill as a tribute to him. Knight comes in from the side and will make sure that Faker doesn't have the luxury of executing.
That's 5 kills now for BLG. 11.5 minutes in. They have just been finding pick after pick, and it was such a well-executed dive on the top side, converted into a nice setup on the grubs, that BLG are once again outplaying T1.
And I want to highlight how BLG did it. They took over the jungle first. They're positioning first towards the objective, and then they got the early route through your jungle with the extra wards there, and being able to pull off that dive with the teleport. Nicely done. I have to say, though, fellas, are we in store for a third stomp in this game?
This is why you don't talk at 10 minutes, Benny. Yeah, 12 minutes in, it is a massive lead now for BLG. 3,000 gold ahead. They're getting those first items complete as well. It's an opportunity first for Elk. Faker has managed to get himself a rocket belt, so he is kind of equivalent with Knight, but Knight has 1,000 gold lead and is starting to build up towards those next items.
And what's fascinating is it's a quiet game for Knight, but his impact has been instrumental.
Yeah.
You'll see it in a lot of the trades that he has against Faker, but he's just out pushing Faker in the side lane, building a CS lead, building an experience lead that we didn't get to see in game 2, but then that converted pressure is working wonders on the map.
And that battle in the mid lane is one that has been raging for years. Knight, domestically a Titan, has the tied most domestic titles of any mid laner in the LPL. Obviously, Faker stands above all. Stands atop the mountain, but Knight has yet to have that international success at Worlds. He's won an MSI with JDG in 2023, but Worlds is yet to become his playground as BLG look for a play on the top side. Equalizer down, Owner able to dodge away with the Vault Breaker, escapes the rocket grab from On. Will they look for more? They still have the Lamb's Respite, remember, from the Kindred. That invulnerability field, as Zeus is down to about half HP, he gets the leap strike out, and BLG will just force T1 away for now.
Yeah, T1 have to leave because Knight is in mid lane threatening that Galio ultimate. This mid laner you're talking about that does so much for his team on the Galio. Their game versus HLE, especially, some of these team fights, people were popping off. Elk, oh my god, insane play in these team fights, but that actually created so much space for him. Carrier actually, Renata ultimate.
Oh my god, I mean, this is such a crazy thing that's happening right now. T1 committed the teleport to the bot side knowing that that was their only option for a cross map, but Knight again got to bot wave and able to clear things out. T1 quickly adapt though, they convert their pressure into mid, they're able to unlock that tower while BLG actually keep the bot tower alive. Knight doesn't quite interrupt the reset from Faker, and now T1 can convert this into a dragon, but I think BLG is still more than happy with how things have played out.
Yeah, they want to keep on snowballing here, get the Rift Tail, keep on taking down these towers, open up more space on the map for you to position so aggressively with these Blitzcrank plays backed up by the threat of a Galio ultimate. The invades coming from Kindred, so much more fearsome when you have that defense of a Galio ult coming through, or even the long range of Rumble ultimates being able to follow there. So BLG, again, resetting after the Rift Herald as Knight pushes up once again, but they can immediately send that Rift Herald and everybody towards mid lane to try and pressure and knock down the domino line of outer towers.
Managing to open up that mid lane tier 1 as well just gives you so much more flexibility on the map. You can step into the jungle, you can start to steal away these camps. It's what we've seen both teams do so well from an advantageous position throughout this series. BLG 4,500 gold ahead, and they are forcing T1 out of their jungle. T1, thankfully for them, managed to pick up these camps before BLG were able to make their advance, but BLG will use that pressure to push through bot. They still have the Rift Herald in pocket as well if they want to look for a tier 2 down here, or if they do want to open up mid.
I mean, just look at the pressure that BLG is exerting right now on the minimap. It feels like that everything is collapsing for T1. They're trying their best across map, but that top tower is barely dented. Zeus should be able to get it, but they're going to lose so much in exchange. The bot tier 2 is going to be secured. BLG ballooning their gold lead now to 6k.
And all the towers are not equal value. The outer tower is 550 gold for your team. The secondary towers on the side lanes only worth a full 800 for your team, so even bigger rewards there still for BLG, and why they're investing their Rift Herald into those tier 2s. So many of the towers already wiped clean off the map, and it really does show in their gold lead.
I think what's crucial about this draft as well is we saw it in game 1 where by leaving the Yone open, BLG were able to find a way in which they could shut down T1. Not only did T1 get the Sylas, Oner got his Vi, Gumayusi got his hands on the Xayah, and Carrier got Renata. Like, you look at this draft from T1, it's like, there's a lot of very comfort picks here. Zeus, also a very good Jax player. And BLG are just running rings around them. The way that they're finding these picks, the way that they're executing upon these plays. To see T1 being put under this kind of pressure is something that we really haven't seen any team do at this World Championship.
Yeah, specifically at this World Championship, though, because in the LCK Summer, we saw this a lot. We saw T1 struggling to have the coordination that we've seen from them at Worlds. Remember, they were only just the 4th seed from the LCK, one game away from it being KT, who perhaps would be here today. BLG, though, have been like this the entire year, from spring to MSI, and now into Worlds. They are a dominant team, and when they get a lead at 15 minutes, they have about an 88% win rate, and we've seen that so far at this tournament. Heroes Entrance coming out, T1 trying to defend this mid-tier 1. Nightlock underneath the tower, but he is damn tanky right now. Already, Oner is down. The counter Heroes Entrance coming out from Faker. He stole one away just to escape the play. BLG lose Knight, but they take the mid-tier 1.
Ooh, that was very aggressive on under tower. They go for the Blitzcrank ult, and they start to play very, very early. They still get it, and they trade in the kills.
I really thought that was going to be a huge throw for BLG. T1 did a good job of clearing out the wave first, before then turning their attention onto BLG, and it felt like that their focus was divided between the tower and the fight, but somehow they get away with a 1-for-1 along with securing the objective.
Yeah, again, and the extra objective you talk about, yeah, the outer tower at 500 gold plus the kills, but here's the early hook on the Blitzcrank to start it out. So they're still tanking tower a bit. They're fine with it. Galio ult comes down. Renata does delay them under it. Then they're trying to both get their kills, but then also finish off the tower.
Ends up being Knight falling in exchange for Oner. Faker steals away the Galio ultimate to help with the disengage. You can feel the tension in the arena as T1, their backs are getting closer and closer to that wall. BLG continuing to extend the gold lead. Dragon spawns in 55 seconds. You imagine the T1 is going to look to concede this objective, as right now they're not really in a position to win a fight.
Importantly for Shun, he was able to pick up a mark in that fight on Oner and also take away a romp that was marked from Oner's jungle. So now he is at 4 marks. It was a very long time coming. Often you see, especially in solo queue, you see Kindreds really get those marks racked up early, but when you're not having as much action, it's harder to find them. And when the enemy team is playing around taking those camps away, obviously it will take you a little bit longer. But that Kindred, very much a champion now, has all of that extended extra range coming out from the marks.
And they have complete control here leading up to the Dragon. T1 doing their best to try and get some safe vision through their own jungle, but it's just so scary, constantly having to deal with On just fishing, throwing out these hooks from Blitzcrank. And there's so much extra power here on the side of BLG with all their money.
Faker steals away the equalizer bin, puts one down of his own, but the rest of BLG are here to join the party. Outnumbered, outgunned. Faker falls in the side lane, tries to clear out the wave. I think that cannon will survive, as will the backcasters.
I mean, often we talk about how when teams commit into collapsing on the Faker, something is often lost as a consequence, but here, Faker is just overextended on the side lane. He has no tier 2 tower to run to, and there's nowhere else on the map that T1 can really put pressure down towards. So BLG, they secure themselves another pick. They're going to secure the Dragon uncontested, kind of as we expected. And T1, the best they can look for is vision on the top side of the map, ready for a potential Baron play.
All right, finish up in their own jungle first to take all of the rewards. I mean, Bin just kind of walked up to him on the side lane and take away the jungle camps, take away their lives. Another mark here for Shun. 6 now on the Kindred, really accelerated.
BLG in a commanding position. I was the one that said I expected a closer game here. I was looking forward to some very close fights, but after that top lane tower dive, BLG have just been in the driver's seat. T1, their tools, their option, the way in which they can come back into this game is trying to find picks. They have Vi and they have Sylas. Great setup for a potential catch on a side lane. The problem is they can't really get much control over the side lanes as BLG look to do to T1 what they were doing to them in game 2 by just constantly keeping these waves pushed in and suffocating their vision, making T1 top lane powered options very limited.
There's one flank ward in the top lane. You can see just next to where the blue buff would be. There's one in the mid lane as well. Knight here stepping forward. Faker spotted on vision as T1 decide not to pull the trigger on the plays. Zeus and Faker do have their teleport, so if you're looking to shut someone down, Knight is an option because he will often be on that side lane, but he has 2 items already, Riftmaker as well, giving him that Omnivamp if he's in combat for a long time. And with Shun waiting around the corner, might come around towards
TP?
me. TP behind, they're looking for the play. It's Knight who's locked down, the rest of BLG are trying to get into it. TP coming out as well, the hostile takeover used, immediately locks up Bin, but look at the damage, there just is none, and now Shun is here to join the battle. Zeus tries to jump on top of him, Knight falling low, he gets the taunt though, and Bin's already on a rampage. Ola has to dash away, Guma didn't even get an opportunity to join the fray, and On doesn't want to give him an opportunity to leave. BLG 5-4, and Baron is on the menu.
They go at Knight, but he's too tanky, and BLG are going to respond in kind. The Baron will be theirs.
They were limited on their options, but the TP flank was a great idea. The problem is the damage. You highlighted it, Kobe. Knight was too tanky. They didn't have enough. And on the re-engage, BLG just melted T1.
We look like we're gonna get another one-sided game in this series, back and forth. BLG here kind of on the precipice, winning this one, pushing them to a match point in the series. Here's another look at it. As you say, T1 know that they are falling so far behind in this game. They've got to try and make one of these overloaded plays to the side lane. So they try and get the jump on tonight, but it's so difficult. The defense there, Bin immediately arrives, Shun right afterwards, and so they don't even have to use a Kindred ultimate. Didn't even force anything out of BLG there, just too far ahead.
And then look at the damage that's going to come through from Elk as well. Going for the lethality build, that Q just tore Gumayusi apart. And I mean, BLG, now with the lead that they have, they'll be setting their sights on the inhibitor towers of T1's base. T1 have to be thinking about game 4. They bounced back incredibly well in game 2. You imagine they'll be looking to get back onto the blue side, but this game feels done and dusted. It's just a matter of how BLG put the final nail in the coffin.
For T1, you need something miraculous right now, but we've already seen how the damage lacks, especially if Gumayusi isn't there. Faker has finished up his Riftmaker, but he's sitting at 0-4-1 in this game. Has been well and truly shut out by BLG, who are now advancing through the top side. Knight has the hero's entrance to join a play if it does occur. BLG, though, can just step forward. T1 really can't find an avenue to approach this next fight. On looking for the Hex Slash hook. Doesn't quite connect. Knight, though, doesn't have a wave in the mid lane. Could go across towards bot. The next wave's still about 20 seconds away from crashing into that mid lane inhibitor tower. And here's the engage. Knight locked up, tried to Justice Punch away, but once again, T1 are engaging on the tankiest member of BLG, and they can't find anything with it. That's a Fate's Call used. That's the hostile takeover invested as well from Keria, and BLG shrug it off, shrug their shoulders, and begin the advance once again.
T1, and not much they can do in the face of this LPL onslaught. They're just going to have to watch 2 inhibitors go down, and still...
I don't think they're going to stop at 2.
Still, they've got another 34 seconds left on this Baron, and so they're immediately pushing this one down as well.
I mean, all I'm thinking of right now is what a great story for Shun it has been. You guys already mentioned what happened during the regular season with the income of Wei, but to bring out the Kindred now once again the TP flank.
Hook going down, cease and desist, they're looking to lock down Shun. Kerry already fallen as the hero's entrance will block Shun from taking any more damage alongside that for Lamb's Respite. T1 have lost their support, but can they find the fight? Zeus sponsors Starwatch, don't have much mana left, as Knight goes into the engage and still lands the taunt. Gumayusi down to half HP, Zeus has already fallen as BLG continue to advance. Ona, Gumayusi and Faker trying to hold the line here. They managed to find something. They got 2 kills out of it, but they've lost 3 inhibs for it.
I mean, it's the best fight that T1 have been able to find so far in this game, but the problem is they're too far behind. At the end of that fight, Knight literally just walked menacingly towards T1 and said, you're not defending this inhibitor, concede it now, and they're gonna get a dragon as well. BLG, 3 inhibitors secured, dragon as well.
Here's another look at it. The teleport very deep in the jungle. Oh, that was quite nice, actually. Owner with his ultimate, able to still stay connected, but they have the emergency buttons of the Galio and the Kindred ultimate, which kept their backline alive while they killed off Keria.
Flash in from Guma, throws out the ulti to secure the kill onto On. Zeus, though, he'd already committed everything to try and getting a kill. Means that on the retreat, it ends up being a trade back. And Guma, with no flash, leaves him more susceptible. But I mean, right now, T1, they're just left with the scraps of their base as BLG walk away with everything.
BLG on the precipice of winning this series, of claiming the world title once again. It's been 4 years ago on Suning. He wasn't quite able to take that final hurdle. Coming back here, he said, I want to win the glory back for the LPL. And I think that resurrection for the LPL, that redemption so important for them, redemption as well for BLG as they lost to Weibo last year and weren't able to make it to the finals. Now, with 3 waves of super minions pushing in, BLG are forcing T1 to make their final stand in this game. Ona goes in with a bolt breaker, hooked in as well, the cease and desist. Silence Ultimate stolen away, a hero's entrance is followed by a second, but it looks like Faker's more like Icarus than any hero taking to the skies. Knight pops a stopwatch, T1 go pop, Zeus locked up towards the top side, already 4 for naught for BLG, as they are looking to take us to match point.
A convincing Game 3 victory from BLG.
金桑人吧。Được. Mấy nhà cút ở đây. Ok. Lên nào, lên nào. Đâu nhỉ? Nhầm. Đẹp đẹp nữa. Ok. Phải rồi.
Instead, they're going to pick the Sylas. Makes sense. Ziggs, Gnar, both great ultimates to steal.
BLG likely going to look towards their mid here. Makes sense, get Smolder in the ninth.
You hear their reactions from the crowds
it's
on that
not
one
the
too?
most like champion in the world,
It's a
I think.
controversial champion. Yes, does have to scale a lot and stack up dragon stacks. But we've also seen the lane phase against a lot of these melee matchups be pretty oppressive in itself. So let's take a look as the bans come through. Definitely target jungle. The Vi you mentioned take away from owner, and then on T1's side, what supports are they worried about? On's probably just going to go with one of those engagers, you know, Rel type champions. They're still scared of the Blitzcrank after last game. Some flashbacks there.
I mean, it makes sense.
Faker particularly didn't like the
he
flash
did not have
knockout
a
punch.
much time. Faker getting caught a few times in that game. The Nocturne. I mean, the adaptations coming through from BLG, denying what made T1 successful in game 2. I mean, really, not much of I mean, now that the Nocturne's gone, T1 could still go for the Ornn once more, but the blind pick Gnar kind of deters that again. And
Yeah.
BLG's draft approach, I think, has been very smart. They know the tendencies that T1 like to go towards. The Xin Zhao are going to be taken away from Jun. So the jungle pool now very pinched, but the Sejuani still available. A reliable frontline engage. And that's going to be locked in.
And a pretty good denial pick. Don't want owner providing that synergy to his solo laners, with the Sylas also already locked in on the side of T1 to complement it.
Yeah, especially since you already have that melee, as you say. We'll see where T1 decide to go next.
So, we were talking about the Camille from Bin's perspective.
True.
As a counter to Gnar. Zeus also played it against Bin many times, but he's not going to play it today. Back to the Rumble here, and we get the Rumble plus the team fighting combination here, quite possibly with the Wukong.
I mean, Zeus' Rumble is definitely a terrifying pick. He's so comfortable on the champion and into the Gnar. I think in the early laning phase, Rumble can still be very oppressive. Later on, it gets a little bit safer for the Gnar.
Looks like it's going to be Poppy, though, for Owner instead. His signature pick for Owner, one that he's incredibly comfortable on.
Yeah, and kind of preemptively into what you expect to be an on Rakan.
Yeah, I think
that
that's a
one
really
is-
good answer for sure. Good disengage as well. You can see PLG once again drafting a lot of team fights. It has sort of been the go-to approach from BLG in this series. They have easy ways of engage, they have good follow-up, and they've just got incredible scaling. Whenever you see Smolder and Ziggs, its ability to slow the game down and stall is so effective because of their wave.
So this game, though, the previous games in this series have been a lot centered on who is going to find success in the grubs and get at least 4 to 6 grubs for their team, and then be able to push down a bunch of towers and snowball their leads that way. In this setup in Champ Select, I would definitely prefer to be the T1 side, at least for grub fights. So maybe this game will put to the test, you know, is RBLG going to be able to outscale that later with some Smolder value?
All in
I definitely think T1 have gotten themselves a lot of what fits into their style. Pick comps have been very successful so far at this World Championship. Their ability to catch someone off on a side lane and convert that into something greater was something we also saw with the Ornn Nocturne composition they drafted earlier in this series. And so Gumayusi's arrows are going to be crucial, and Faker's stealing of things like the Sejuani ultimate and the Gnar ultimate are going to be important to setting up those plays for T1.
I really want to see the T1 bottom lane. How much value do they get out of the Ashe plus Kalista? Such a strong combination for them. As you
Renata.
said, excuse me, Renata.
But yeah, I mean, backs against the wall now for T1. Our reigning world champions find themselves needing to win 2 games to get themselves a 5th title.
And we talked a lot about the weight of expectation, the weight of the crown sitting on T1's head, but in this moment that is realized even more than ever. Faker actually going out without not buying items. He's going to recall. He'll buy himself some items. Now has a Doran's ring and a health potion. But even the infallible make mistakes here on the grandest stage of them all. The grandest stage in esports. Faker fumbles at the start, obviously. Just a small mistake, just a small misstep, but that is all that can define a whole series like this. BLG just one win away from that World Championship. For the LPL to return to being the best team in the world, or having the best team in the world for the first time in 3 years, to take that title away from the defending world champions. The T1, it all rests on this game. BLG, they will have another opportunity if they end up losing. T1 poke their noses in, but doesn't look like anyone is going to get too much out of this level 1.
The tiny bit of ward experience is currently still in the game on this Worlds patch. Not taken out quite yet as on live, and so that will remain for Faker there. As T1 go for their invade, get their ward down, Bin will just be forced to watch on.
And for the first time this series, we'll see the split map. Bin is hovering around. I wonder if he's trying for a... Nah, okay, no steal for him. The ward in the brush as well will spot out if Bin tries to do anything cheeky. But we haven't seen this split map swap so far. Both top laners throughout the series have been doing what you see Zeus doing now, trying to leech what experience they can. But Zeus is very much isolated from the rest of his team. I'm kind of surprised that we don't see him hovering around the mid lane, sharing experience with Faker, getting ready for the potential dive, because the thing is, Jun is going to be trapped on the bottom side of the map, which means that Zeus is very susceptible to an incoming dive, and with Bin ready, T1 have to be ready to stop this from panning out for BLG.
Yep, they're going to bring all four here. Bin helping Shun accelerate his jungle clear while they build up the rest of that wave and head on over.
Now Carrier, level 2, gone back to base, making a beeline towards the bottom lane, has to get there as quickly as possible. Owner hovering around the top side, ready for a potential TP in from Bin, but he's sticking towards the left side of the map for now, ready for the oncoming dive.
The risk for Carrier is him trying to get back into this lane. He may just be cut off by Shun and Bin. He'll be seen on that water bound. Zeus gets the level 2 underneath the tower, flashes away from the grand entrance, but the damage continues to rain down from Bin. Shun tanking the tower. Zeus gets a bailout. Carrier keeps him alive for the moment. That bailout will run over, and BLG can look for a redive if they so decide to. Zeus taken down. Bin flashes away, tanking the tower, and BLG will escape with a kill in their line.
Nice, just the tip of the W there from Shun, able to get it. They're able to finish it off. Elk here cashes in once again. So many games we've had Elk getting first blood. He'll be rich on the Ziggs again.
I mean, in terms of XP, Bin hasn't really been able to catch much. He's not even going to TP to the top wave. He's just going to run towards it. Ultimately, though, BLG secure themselves the kill. But I'm not sure I would say that it was a huge advantage gained, as Zeus TP's back into the bot side, is able to catch a lot of the remaining wave, and the gold still remains even.
The big thing affecting these lane swaps, though, is that Ziggs also takes teleport here. So not only did Elk get the first blood money there with the cash in, but then teleports right back down to the bottom lane.
Zeus has no flash to really threaten him if it is a 1v1. Elk has a flash and of course the satchel to escape any precarious situations. Carrier's working his way up towards the top side. Bin without that summoner himself. Perhaps we'll see a dive materializing because Owner's on his way towards that top lane too. Faker forced away, 150 HP on him. Make it very difficult for him to stay around. Carrier looking for the handshake here. Bin jumps away, and the handshake is just short of a full agreement.
And they're actually calling Shun over back to the bottom side once again.
Dive o'clock, the grand entrance goes down. Zeus is overheated, and he's sent packing. BLG find their second.
Easy execute for BLG. Bin reads to the dive, is likely coming top, and he's out of there before a play is even set up. Meanwhile, Zeus sticks around a little too long and loses his life once more. Still though, you can see he's 300 gold up on Bin. He's still level 4 to the level 2 of Bin. And so while he is conceding gold, ultimately he still finds himself ahead of his top lane counterpart.
Yep, dying for experience, sticking around down there on the bottom sides. Meanwhile, finishing up with the rest of this split map jungle camps here. Take away the rest of the Raptors before swapping over. And BLG feeling pretty good about this one because in the mid lane, Knight has just been pushing in constantly with this Smolder, stacking up, scaling quite nicely, even working away at his own turret plate.
He's going to get knocked up here. It's more about just getting stacks for Knight, as you say. He's on 24 right now. We'll just want to get towards that 225 mark. Once again, a little bit overstepped here in the bottom side. And Minion takes the Highway Express to get towards this rumble. It goes overheated, Flamespitter going down, but Zeus is going to go back to the fountain again. No escape for him. He tries to clear the wave, but in the end, he will be put in the ground by Bin. BLG now 3-0 up, a 700 gold lead, only 6 minutes into this game.
And I mean, the first few kills, I think, weren't the end of the world for Zeus, but now adding a third is really going to make things difficult for T1 in this early game. You can see Shun with a 300 gold lead over his jungle counterpart. That Ziggs is being accelerated so much and Bin able to close that gold gap that had previously been built up in favor of Zeus.
On's on the warpath here, passes through mid, and T1 are trying to stick to that game plan of taking down the grubs to be able to snowball turret plate money and turrets later on. But BLG with so many early kills already throwing a wrench into the plan.
I mean, Shun has just been so active throughout this series, constantly looking for ganks, and he's a core part of why BLG is even here. The turnaround in the Swiss stage that he brought to the team and just his playmaking in the early game has been phenomenal. He is continuing that trend. He finds himself involved in all 3 of BLG's early game kills.
Elkanon with their synergy with this Rakan and Ziggs as well, you know, knockups into satchel charges. So far nicely executed from their side. We will see as far as the mega stacking continues, the tier picked up there for Knight, continually stacking that up as well as Faker goes for another trade.
Steals away the Smolder Ultimate, can use that obviously later to clear a wave or just to heal himself up. Let's give you a bit of health regeneration when it hits in the middle of it. Faker now parting down towards that bottom side. Owner's on his way down there as well. Gumayushi and Carrier able to take the plate in the top lane. Elk, only level 5 right now, does have the flash. Guma's 6, so has that enchanted crystal arrow. On's going to try and hold this wave so that Elk can get back to the relative safety of the tower.
Exactly, it was a nice little kind of Red Rover, send one member over there as Guma and Keria run past the tower to zone Elk out from the minions, but On tries to go collect, as you said. So On actually gets in and they're kind of funneling extra experience there into him, but now Elk is finally able to make his way over.
Only gets enraged for the last 2 minions though, so did lose a bunch of XP there. You can see Elk still not level 6, while Gumayushi's almost towards level 7. T1 will use the pressure they have in the top side, the push that they had through bot to now take away the first dragon of the game. It's 3 grubs and a Drake in their names at the 8-minute mark.
I think that will be critical for T1 moving forward since BLG have drafted really good late game for themselves. T1 are going to use these objectives, try and draw them out to you.
I mean, there are different ways to look at this, right? Because from POG's perspective, the fact that they've been able to find these advantages in what is a very scaling comp, that's going to be forced to flash away, knows that the setup play from Owner was very risky. So BLG having this advantage in the early game just better sets them up for scaling later. Faker face checking.
Straight into Shun, the Glacial Prison hits, but Faker heals up with that Kingslayer. Owner's going to force Shun away for now. On does have the quickness, but doesn't want to dash in to bolster the attack of Shun. In the end, Faker does manage to escape, doesn't burn the flash, and holds on to that summoner.
And I mean, what I'm talking about, things can look good from the perspective of BLG. T1 have been able to secure all these early objectives. Kobe was already highlighting the fact that the early investment in the grubs, their skirmishing potential of the composition, and the fact that Zeus is actually, even with all that pressure, still a level up, and he has a huge stacked wave on the bottom side of the map. He's very comfortable in terms of gold, so I think that T1 definitely still have avenues, even though things aren't looking great for them in the early game.
Yeah, in the 1 versus 1 down there. Had a huge wave for himself at the tower as well to collect, so even though the rest of BLG getting kills onto him, in the 1 versus 1, feels pretty decent for himself.
T1 do have those pick tools as well, so even if you do start to fall behind a little bit, you've got the arrow, you've got the follow-up with the equalizer, you have Faker jumping in with the Abscond that does just like this. Now doesn't sidestep. Faker dashing forward for a little bit more damage, using that passive to its full effect. Steals away the Mega Inferno Bomb. Elk has to flash it. Faker takes the tower, and Elk just dies. It's hunting season for Faker in the top lane.
He just runs him down, even with the first chain missing. Conquer stacked up, thank you for the ultimate, and finishes the job himself. Now, Shun will just get there a little bit later. Not going to have any sort of kill threat as far as damage goes, so No harm, no foul, though. Again, these Ziggs with the teleport, he can get back to the minions at the very least.
I mean, what a confidence booster for T1 as well. To see Faker getting a solo kill on the side lane has to reignite the T1 members and the T1 fandom as Carrier now in danger.
Caught out with the quickness alongside that Glacial Prison Carrier, though still has 150 HP to work with here. Hostile takeover only hits onto Shun. Guma starts to open up and put the arrows in the back of that ball. Shun able to walk away, though Guma really doesn't have too much damage yet.
And we've come back to the game plan overall for T1 here with this composition. They want to stack these Void Grubs, get that bonus to be able to take down a lot of these towers, open up areas to then make their signature picks on the map by denying vision and using Ash arrows.
Faker, his ultimate is going to be available soon. Zeus has the TP and the ulti available. TP available for Bin as well. First found Shun.
This flash here will use it to get away. You knew the steadfast presence was coming from Ona. Stops any dashes in its area, and so On has to burn the flash. Use the blink instead of one of Rakan's many dashes.
Knight too far away from the play, now making his way down, but Faker controlling the river, trying to force On back. The arrow isn't quite going to connect, and that is looking to be 6 grubs for T1, so part 1 of the plan coming true,
Yeah,
Cody.
exactly. Even though BLG getting some extra early kills in the lane swap and in the side lane, T1 still, let's see if they can actually get the 6th one here. It is actually kind of important to get the double Void Might spawn. Should be able to, no problem. Nobody around to smite steal, and they will secure that very big objective. We have seen how quickly you can get tower gold.
Shun hovering around the bottom side of the map. There's a potential play onto Zeus on the Rumble, but there's no way for him to really play through. Instead, the rest of T1 is going to look to reset. You can see the Elk benefiting from finding those early kills onto Zeus, but after losing his life from Gumayusi, kind of playing the map well, he's been able to close that gold gap thanks to the CS advantage that he's been able to find. And we find ourselves in a neutral game state, 12.5 minutes into game 4.
Tiny gold lead for BLG. You can see Shun about 500 gold ahead, the bot side about 200 gold ahead each as well. But as close to neutral as you can get in this series. T1 though do have the neutrals themselves, those 6 grubs and the Drake, next Drake up in 40 seconds time. You see Carrier pathing through that bot side jungle, hoping to get vision towards that dragon pit. They'll use the mid prio and then they'll move T1 down towards that bottom side to make sure they can control that bot side river.
And BLG, they have so much wave control. Ziggs in the mid lane, have the Smolder Versailles on top side.
Oh no, looks for Bin, he locks him up. Bin though with his arm into the wall, Ona's going to flash away the locket invested as well. Bin holds onto his summoner, BLG beginning to collapse the Mega Inferno Bomb coming out as well. There's the arrow, Bin sidesteps it. Zeus might have to flash the wall here. Ona on that front line, locked up with the quickness. He dives onto Elk Gumayusi corner. Elk falling low though, and the flame spin is enough to burn him down in the river. And now T1 begin to turn on the afterburners. Shun has the flash across, dash across the wall with the Arctic Assault. Gumayusi can't quite get down with the volley. Carrier though! He will not let you escape, and now On has to dance away with that grand entrance. Carrier looking for a little bit more. Gumayusi puts a volley in his back and forces him to the safety of his tier 2.
Not only does Carrier flash to get the kill there, not let Shun escape, but he also bailed out Owner for T1. Big Renata play.
A massive play for T1. Ona setting things up by getting that collapse onto Bin. The follow-up from the rest of T1 as well as BLG tried to collapse onto T1, thinking that they'd overstayed their welcome on the bottom lane, but they're able to turn the play around thanks to the arrival of Gumayusi and Carrier. T1 looking strong here in game 4.
And BLG off there, resets off there. Deaths immediately trying to get out onto the map and take this Rift Herald away because they know if T1 get the Rift Herald alongside 6 grubs, that is a tower-taking machine. Faker's here to check though, and the rest of T1 are making their advance through the mid lane. On and Shun in the pit, the Rift Herald down to 2,000 HP, Bin looking for that Nav as well. The Rift Herald still sitting at 2,000, that eye is open. T1 will close it and slam the door as well in BLG's base.
Back out onto the map, T1 don't waste any moments. Securing the Rift Herald, forcing BLG back. They can look to drop that mid if they want. The Ziggs wave clear is going to be so obnoxious, so they're not going to look to use it on this wave. But we come back to a crucial point. BLG's composition have a lot of tools to stall, so securing that Rift Herald is going to help T1 unlock these towers and keep the pressure up.
Game plan moving ahead here. Faker deep into enemy territory, finding on.
Blastcone will get on to safety. It just dashes back.
But again, now is where we're going to see the real acceleration for the side of T1. With Rift Herald plus the full 6 scrubs, you can drive the Herald in for the extra Void Might spawns there, immediately move up, snowball all of this money. This is what we've seen in so many of the games in this series, is such an acceleration at this point, the mid point of the game for the team that did get the early lead. And T1 are that team this time around.
BLG trying to defend. Glacial Prism hits onto On. The arrow also connects. Bin dashes in. The Gnar back. The hostile takeover makes Shun go berserk underneath the tower. And he pops the locket, but he will go pop first. This one on T1's heads. They found 2. Carrier has no flash, but Matt has one to chase. Carrier escaping on 100 HP. He will not give him that luxury. BLG find 3 in the top side.
And just like that, BLG punish the aggression from T1, trying not to lose any momentum. They set their sights on the top tier 1, but BLG deny them access and turn the fight around.
That play right there might change the course of this series. BLG with Knight on the front lines with his Trinity Force Smolder completed. Well, they're trying to answer mid here for T1. The bomb doesn't quite take out all of the minion wave because of the Void Mites. T1 stick around. They just can't quite finish the tower though.
But Bin with some crucial playmaking there, getting a beautiful Gnar ultimate off onto 2 members of T1, and then just barely getting away with his life to deny Owner coming back to life thanks to the Renata passive as well. The mid tower still not going to fall just because of the wave clear from Elk. Carrier tries his best. The Mites should be able to secure this. No! Knight going to deny that once more. BLG fighting that tower's life. But here we are. Let's look back at the replay.
All right, so it starts out, they use both Faker's ulti as well as the Ashe arrow, and as you say, Bin, just as he goes in, gets the knock back on 2 of them there, Carrier and Owner, and so they get the first kill. Knight then arrives on the Smolder, flashing forward to chase them down with his freshly completed Trinity Force. And BLG, I mean, we have seen Smolder scale into terrifying areas for a long time in the last few patches, actually. So we'll see if we can put this to the test here. Carrier knows that one is going to be rough.
It's a tense situation. The gold finds itself easy even once more. We'll check out the itemization once we get back. But 2 dragons in the favor of T1. 6 scrubs to the name. 3rd dragon of the game going to be spawning soon. And ultimately it becomes a question of how strong will this Smolder get? Can T1 accelerate the game quickly enough before Knight becomes a serious problem? Or can BLG stall the game long enough to get to a point where T1 will run out of options?
Might already be a serious problem as we'll see him continue to scale. I mean, when you accelerate at the beginning, then you get to even stack much quicker. And so we'll start to see the execute and the burn really come in.
Only 60 stacks short of that 225 mark. Alongside that, BLG helped by the fact it's a chem soul this game. Obviously, you don't want to give the enemy team a soul, but when they've stacked 2 Drakes, giving them a chem soul to let yourself scale isn't as impactful as if it were in Inferno, if it were Hextech. So T1 will be licking their wounds a little bit. That twist of fate. Yushi caught with the Mega Inferno Bomb. The wave cleared out in mid as well by Elk. T1 will use the time they have to pressure in towards this blue side jungle. Drake up in 10 seconds. It doesn't look like BLG really want to fight it.
Not necessary for them to do so. Of course, just number 3 here for T1. I think the correct call is we keep on scaling. We got to get our Smolder to the break point that you just talked about. And so they're going to push hard on the other side of the map. Definitely the correct choice here with the scaling that they have available to them. Take away a little bit of the jungle as well while they're at it, but T1, they press ahead.
It's a tense affair. I mean, Medic, you called it earlier. The losing team in every game, 3 kills was the maximum. Well, T1's at 3. 1 more, and we've got a tense game on our hands.
Well, I also do have to say, I really do bet a lot that this will not be a 27-minute game ending, especially with BLG having Smolder plus a Ziggs. The reason why this is such a good pairing as the arrow goes wide, but Faker's still here.
Take a look for that flank. We'll seal away the quickness from On. Gets pushes in, finds 2. He flies on the back line as well. As Faker is not off this earth, he finds the engage.
T1. You think that the play falls short because the arrow doesn't connect, but Faker will find a way.
And then with the 6 grubs, with the Riptail, they immediately take the tower afterwards. And guess what? They're turning straight towards the barrel.
Zeus
It's just ticking away to the flame spitter damage. Zeus tries to turn it around, and in the end, BLG unable to hold on to their tier 2. Bin's coming across from the side as well. He TP'd in. T1 have started the Baron, and you have to feel it all hinges on this. On a knife's edge between T1 and BLG. Will BLG look to try and take the fight? Jun has flash and smite. Elk now joins the battle, teleports in. Bin looks for Keria, lands the slow with the boomerang. Knight TP in as well. BLG are going all guns blazing into the battle here as T1 are hailing the retreat on dashing forward. He's only at 300 HP. Faker eats the bomb and is taken out low. Mega Inferno Bomb going in. Zeus will sacrifice himself for the good of his team to make sure the rest of T1 are able to escape with this Baron.
The quick play from T1, the teleport ends up not mattering here for BLG as they only got the 1 kill in the aftermath. T1 just got so much out of this. Faker on the flank, even with the arrow going wide, he makes the play, and T1 finds so much.
I mean, the arrow comes through, it does not connect, but on the right-hand side is Faker. He interrupts the knockup, and then he connects the 2-man charm into then the knockup come through from Ona. The wombo combo is exceptional, and T1 finds some much-needed kills onto the crew. 2 crucial carries of BLG.
Yeah, Faker laid the way for the Renata ultimate there, catching them up. And then Zeus, who had been 2v1ing earlier, goes for the sacrifice here to allow all the other Baron buffs on T1 to remain alive.
Yeah, we've seen so much Bin rumble. I thought it was Bin making the flash, but it was Zeus, and he did have to sacrifice his life up towards the top side of the map. T1, though, immediately back out on the map, and look, they're doing what they did in Game 2, spreading themselves across the map, pushing in top, pushing in mids. And Kobe, you said quite confidently that this game isn't going to end in 27 minutes, but...
Once again onto Elk, he had the flash, he decides to use it afterwards. Ona couldn't quite get in range to engage any further. Faker's taken out the tier 2 in the top lane. Shun goes in with the Glacial Prism. Carrier though, an incredible hostile takeover, but on in his place. Ona taking the tower, Glacial Prism stolen away by Faker as he turns into the lane. Who else? Faker again in the empty field, but Guma is making Shun look like a pin cushion. Knight forced to flash away. Elk trying to put the damage down as well. He won't land it on Carrier. The fancy feeder out in force as T1 begin to push up both sides.
Yeah, T1 are taking another tower with the 6 Void Grubs as well as the Riptail. They keep on forcing these Vedias even when BLG try and construct their counter. T1 rebuff it. The Renata is just too much defense. Charging into that ultimate seems like suicide.
I mean, I just feel like we're feeling the Faker effect here. He's not at the start of this play. The arrow connected, forcing the summoners out. Then when the range gauge comes through, the TP is quick to follow. Carrier with a fantastic ultimate to force BLG to disengage. And then when Faker arrives, he does not hesitate to dive past the tower and set up the play for him and Gumayusi to tear BLG apart.
At the end, some slim margins there as well. Knight being forced to flash away a critical summoner spell, but T1 are doing a good job, I think, pushing the pace of this game because, as you mentioned, one of the reasons I was confident in saying that I didn't think it would end in 27 minutes, Ziggs and Smolder is such a good combo, and Ziggs wave clear plus the Smolder wave clear and scaling itself in that champion. But because T1 got those 6 Void Grubs that we have been so probably too hyper-focused on, the pushing power that they have shown in really accelerating this game and being able to get their Dragon Soul as well in a very timely manner means we are still on course for that T1 game plan.
And credit to Zeus. 0-3 during the laning phase has bounced back phenomenally. Been landing some very important Rumble ultimates, and he's going to be important in the upcoming sieges. That tool is great for zoning away the Rumble, for zoning away the Smolder and the Ziggs from providing that wave clear and protecting their towers.
That's so vital. They managed to put that damage down on tonight to keep him away from the battle because he has hit that 225 mark. Now sitting at 230 stacks. That doomsday clock has ticked over to midnight for T1. they are still in the lead. Chemsol, 4,000 gold ahead, 6 grubs. Baron up in a minute 30 as well. Faker has been on fine form, finding people with the quickness, with those engagers. But BLG can still hold on to the fact they have this wave clear. They also are on championship points, so even if they lose this game, they have another to battle back against T1. Owner forced away with the satchel, but doesn't really take too much damage. The Mega Inferno Bomb only clipping onto Carrier as well.
Say the next like 4-ish minutes of this game will be so critical because Smolder working towards the rapid fire. That's when you really start to get scared, when you have the poke of the rapid fire Smolder plus the Ziggs. T1, they've got a nice little window here though, with a very, very sizable advantage with Dragon Soul plus Baron coming up, which they can try and use to bait BLG out and look for their engages. So many snap engage angles. Faker with a stolen Rakan ultimate at the moment.
Glacial Princess, Faker dodges. He knew something was up. His spider sense was tingling.
Good check there. Good reactions from him. Pops the Scryers as well, and T1 can come in to take away all that safety.
Manages to get the knock into the wall. Steadfast Presence already been used, though. On will have a second dance away. Hostile takeover coming out. Shun cleansed away by that Mikhail's out of on. In the end, it's just an investment of ultimates from T1. Mikhail's used, Carrier, flash handshake, pulls back Elk. Faker trying to get with the quickness off the back line. Gumayushi unable to open up quite yet. Been doing the damage on Owner as well, but already Elk is down to 300 HP. On the top side, Shun is down. The equalizer out from Zeus will save Owner's life and force BLG away.
It becomes a question of can the Baron be secured, and with Shun down, I believe that the answer is yes. There is no smite available. Elk, crucially, still has his ultimate. That Faker secures his 500th kill at the World Championship.
BLG are looking to fight this. They TP'd Elk into the mid lane. Has that Mega Inferno Bomb. It's going to hit onto Owner. Faker able to dodge to the side of it. 3,000 HP now on the Baron. As BLG advance. T1 have already got the Baron though, and BLG now have to begin to retreat. But the damage coming out from Elk is absolutely massive. Faker dives He locks him up. He wants to stop watch to try and buy himself a second. The bailout taking him as well, and he flashes. Faker survives somehow. T1 get out with the Baron buff. And BLG are unable to find purchase on the game.
Faker plays a dangerous game. They're so close to the execution, but he's able to immune it, flashes out, and escapes with his life.
My goodness, Faker has turned it up to 11 in this game 4. He knows the stakes that are in this game, and he does not want to give up the title that easily. It's likely that we're going to game 5. T1 still have to close this one out. The arrow connects. Not quite. Shun flashes away to safety.
BLG really got to just keep focusing on their defense here. They do have flashes on both Knight and Elk, so as long as they don't let anyone get caught and give up some critical summoner spells here early on, if they focus on their wave clear and defense at towers, then T1 really are going to have to make use of this 2 minutes of Baron buff to crack inside and get to those inhibs.
T1 need to get someone in the mid lane. They're going to send Faker over. Rumble is actually going to stay top to catch that wave, has the TP available. T1 being spread quite thin. Normally they prefer to play that 4-1 setup, but been doing a good job of pushing that top wave in deep. Now he can regroup, buy a little bit more time for BLG. Again, the wave clear looking to be strong here from the side of BLG. Knight's chipping away. Doing a huge amount of damage to Owner, but for now, all they need to do is stall.
They're doing exactly that. 90 seconds before the Elder Dragon comes to bear. BLG yet to pick up a Drake in this game, but if they get the Elder, their fortunes may change. They're just trying to defend right now. T1 have been unable to break the base, break that inhibitor line with this Red Bull Baron power play. A minute left on it, but it looks like T1 are going to just look for the resets here, get back out onto the map, get that vision control down once again, and then try and pull BLG into a fight at Elder, because they've got to. You can't just give the Elder away to T1. You have to make your final stand there if you are BLG, and if you win that fight, you might just win Worlds, you might just win the championship. That's how much of a game decider Elder Dragon can be.
I mean, Kobe already talked about the atomization. BLG is strong enough to fight. Their carries are in a position. It ultimately comes down to execution and finding access to this Dragon Pit. Right now, T1 are denying all vision on, doing what he can to find angles of attack, maybe even a TP flank, but he's been caught.
On locked up against the wall, pulled back with a handshake. The keeper's verdict finds him guilty as On is slain by Guma Yushi, and now will BLG even try to mount a defense around the Elder Drake? They TP to the bot lane. Bin looking at that flank position. His Mega Knight's going to expire pretty soon, and Faker's looking for a flank of his own as he TPs in towards this blue side. Bin now on the wrong side of the rift. This Faker's hunting, and he's looking for a bit of the flash forward. Xenos Peasant's Knight able to flash away as well. The hostile takeover but comes up short. The Gnar stolen away by Faker. Locks Bin against the wall and puts him 6 feet under. Shun next on the menu as Gumi Yushi begins to open up. Shun taken out by Zeus. The equalizer does exactly that for T1. It's going to equalize this series at 2-2.
The reigning world champions will not go down that easily. They will push us to a deciding game 5. They are going for it.
There's only On left to defend the Nexus. Faker steals away the Rakan ultimate. The defense is not strong enough, and T1 will bring us to game 5.
On the shoulders of Faker, T1 will go to game 5. There is no one like him, not on.
Dave and is now making a way towards top. On has pathed towards bot, preparing for the potential dive, knowing that the split map has come through. Zaya's going to take a bit of damage, a lot of damage from Elk, but he's going to tick over to level 2, and he should be fine now on the top side.
And they should be able to defend this dive. On was able to soak his level 2 before heading down. There's so much CC with a Rel plus Jax. I think that
Elk's already swapping as well. So Bin's going to get level 2 here. Going to farm this experience underneath the tower on there as well. Knight gets the charm onto Faker, has to flash the Justice punch. Faker punching in the opposite direction to get that little bit of an extension on that E.
And it might seem weird that he would do that, but it's because he knows that Owner is on the bottom side of the map, and he hasn't showcased on the bot lane dive, meaning that he's in the jungle, and the possibility of him showing up mid is very real. Knight showcasing that respect, doesn't want to give over first blood. He's getting pushed underneath this tower, but his farm is doing just fine as Faker on the Galio continues his pressure in mid.
Meanwhile, once they do teleport Bin back to that top side, he should be able to soak up his level 3 as Zeus already pushed the wave. Zeus is going to get the first move, but Faker under attack.
Has no flash, Justice punch gets hit, there's the charm as well, and Faker might fall first in the finals of the finals. Knight gets the kill, BLG, find first blood.
The Jarvan Ari strikes first blood here into, wait a second.
Elk has flash, has cleanse. Keria looking for that flank position. Onto where to use the shadowing striking. Knight goes down and Elk flashes. You can see Keria trying to bait the early flash. They're on just able to escape to the relative safety of the other side of that wall.
Another game, another BLG first blood. Finding it onto Faker, crucial. Especially given that Knight did have to expend his flash earlier, but a good response from T1 as they lay in wait in the bot brush, ready to try and trap Elk. They couldn't convert it into a kill, but they do get his summoner spawn. Look at this bot wave. It is very awkward, slowly pushing towards the bot lane of T1. They're going to require Jun to shadow in the lane to help them get that push out.
Exactly, he has to come all the way down here because Keria and Guma are doing such a good job just holding it. Meanwhile, topside, easy trading up there. The Jax into Gragas matchup is so much denial there for the Gragas. The phase rush for Zeus, easily able to hold them off. But here comes Shun, as you mentioned, came to shadow, make sure that they can move up to the wave.
Maybe going in, looking for the damage onto Zeus there. Relatively even top lane after obviously the first few levels were spent on opposite sides of the map. Very tiny gold lead for BLG. Faker again with a good Justice punch to dodge away from the charm in mid.
Shun hovering around.
Yeah, really cost Faker last time. Giving up that first blood, no flash on Faker. Pretty good movement so far from Shun, doing so much for his lanes, you know? Going towards Knight to make sure they can get their first blood, going towards bottom lane, make sure their wave is in a good state.
So you have to do on the Jarvan, right? It is a very gank-orientated jungler.
It does cost him in CS though, so this is something you're gonna have to keep track of. Just remember that Shun did a lot for his lanes. Now he's gonna try and catch back up though and see if he can clear the rest of his jungle.
And, you know, you can sit there and go, oh, it's a shame that T1 didn't get that kill in the bot lane 2v2, but they still benefited massively. You look at the AD carry difference, and because of the farm that was denied from Elk and the wave that Gumayusi was able to catch, he finds himself with about a 200 gold lead, and now he paths back up towards top. T1 have done this consistently, ready for the grub spawn. Faker ticking over to level 6 very soon. Nice trade onto Keria. It's going to make this contest of the grubs very difficult for T1, but Ona has found an angle onto Bin.
And has the flash here. Ona dash forward with that audacious charge. Hits him with the Wind Becomes Lightning. There is the counter strike out from Bin. Ona happy enough to eat that. You can see the TP coming in from Zeus as well as T1 are bringing more members up towards the top side. Faker has the hero's entrance to come in from mid. Almost for the engage. The flash away is T1 disengaged for the moment. Ona jumping back in. There's the hero's entrance. Keria gets the slam into the wall. It's on. Almost falls. He gets punched by Faker. And now Bin and Shun have to escape, but Zeus does not want to let them get away. The explosive cast knocks them back in the end. T1 will win the fight.
In a series that has been so focused on grubs, in the game number 5, all 10 players show up, and it is T1 who get Owner's Poppy Slam into the wall on. They get the kill, they get the grubs, and they immediately get turret plate money.
T1 Even though they conceded first blood, they set up for the grubs extremely well, and BLG got caught off guard.
You feel that, Vedius? That is a wave of T1 fans.
You look back at the replay. Ona walking into darkness, but he knows he has the support on. Not quite connecting on the stun. It could have been crucial, especially with Knight right there for the follow-up. The Galio ulti comes in, the connection into the wall, and then Faker securing that first kill.
Yeah, and it's Carrier Poppy this time around, of course. He's the one who got it, and the grub secured. T1 with the early game lead secured. The reason we're so focused on that is because you can balloon these gold leads so quickly, but Faker under attack.
Does have the flash, will punch forward. Justice Punch coming out on, misses the crash down. The charm connects, though, and the chase continues as Shun dives forward. Faker save the flash, and in the end will use it to dash out of Shun's engage.
I can't believe in a 4 versus 1, he's still able to get out. The charm doesn't quite connect. Knight, though, very healthy, able to get the push, means that BLG should be able to secure the first dragon of the game. They haven't actually set their sights on it. No TP available for Faker. I am a little bit surprised. The bot push is going to come through for Gumayusi, who has sticked over to level 6. BLG, right now, resets come through. Elk making his way back towards bot now.
More turret plate money, more demolished procs, Void
Whoa,
Grub
Faker.
passive.
See just the pressure that Faker's absorbing in the mid lane. T1 now using that to garner a 1.7k gold lead. Gumayushi's been picking up plate after plate. Ona now looking towards this bot side. Elk yet to hit the level 6, still half a level of XP away. Elk has to run, supercharges his way back in the lane.
I mean, the Xayah is just so far ahead here. 2 levels for Guma over him, not to mention all the extra gold, the biggest gold lead holder on the team. So much to know.
Oh, Carrier goes in and down goes on. Carrier turns him up. And the question is, will Elk stay around because he's still not at that level 6?
I mean, a masterful performance from Carrier in the top lane grub fight, along with this play in bot. He is just finding those angles for Poppy to connect into the wall. T1 find another kill, extend their gold lead to 2k, and they'll secure the first dragon of the game.
And it is a very tall task here for BLG to get Elk back into this game. Xayah is so weak early on and being denied so much early into this game. It's going to be very hard for BLG to get their dive comp really online and get him scaling up into being a threat. Very far in the future, you're going to have to look before Elk is really a danger.
Knight felt the pressure of this position last year on JDG in the semifinals. It was T1 that denied JDG the Golden Road. Hoping to get revenge, he is one of the players that we will be keeping our eyes on as this game continues. His Ahri has been able to turn around some incredibly difficult games before. The pick potential is real, but right now Guma is just
going for it.
Oh, Carrier with a good set pass person. TP coming in from BLG as they look
there he comes.
to make the play. Spear rush forward by Knight, holding the charm, doesn't get stunned. The charm hits Carrier. Flash forward with the counter strike. Carrier falls first as Gumayusi brings the feathers back and almost takes down On. Ona caught underneath his own tower, but he will fall even in the Cataclysm. BLG find 2. Guma's walking away wounded.
And just as we talk about him, he makes the play happen. 3 kills now for Knight. A fantastic TP to bring BLG back.
Speak his name and you will invoke the magic of Knight's Ahri. That just fully funded Malignance and the shoes upgrade. Lucidity acquired. That ultimate cooldown now for Knight will be so low. T1 though, looking back at the grubs, they want to get at least 4 for their Void Might spawn. Despite a really good play there from BLG.
I mean, yeah. The bot tower falling means that there's a huge wave as well. Knight forced to catch it, doesn't have the TP. Bin and Knight committing all of their summoner spells to make this play happening. The idea of shutting Gumayusi down is so important because of how much of a threat he is. Bin gets a nice flash, 2-person stun off, and they give the initial kill over to Knight. On's then able to disengage while Gumayusi does get away. Knight's able to secure the second kill as well. The kills in favor of BLG, but the gold still in the hands of T1.
So much pressure on the shoulders of these BLG players, and now even more so onto that of Knight, a player that is so well renowned in the LPL here. really looking to take that last step and acquire his first world championship. He is the richest player in the game on Ahri, such a playmaker. Can he do it?
That's the question that everyone asks themselves in moments like this as well. For BLG, it would be the first time they have won a world championship. For T1, it would be their fifth. Faker so often leads the charge. Now it's Knight who has to take the charge into his own hands. Carrier looking at the sun into the wall, the TP coming in behind as T1 begin to draw out their battle plans. Faker looking for that flank, BLG disengage. T1 can't quite find the fight that they were looking for right now.
Faker doesn't quite realize he's sitting on a ward, but chooses not to overcommit to the play. TP's in ready for the action to kick off, but nothing too chaotic just yet. A minute and 15 until the next Rift Herald spawns. The bot lane has been completely abandoned. As T1 looking to now provide support for Zeus. See if he can push that wave underneath the tower. Keeping my eyes on the minimap. On has gone to reset, so it's BLG that'll be forced to concede for the time being. As T1 have numbers on the map, but On is quickly making his way towards top. Elk catching that wave in mid is crucial for him as he tries to close that gold gap between the two AD carries.
Galio ult is available here. Remember, for Faker, you have to be careful as BLG. T1 have that safety net.
Wave clear from Knight though, coming through with the Malignance completed and level 9. The Q is going to be doing enough damage to help clear out those waves, but Gumayusi not slowing down, going to catch another wave as the resets now come through from T1. Dragon spawning in 55, and the Herald in 25.
And again, the reason we're focusing so much on Knight, him getting all of this gold, is because Elk has been put so far behind in this game. It's going to be a while before there is another really big carry threat on the BLG side, and so Knight is their big threat of getting kills. Bin, of course, on the side lane is going to look to farm up and scale up some more money on the Jax, but that as well might take a while.
And typically, Zyra is a difficult AD carry to kill. Thanks to the feathers, thanks to the ultimate, but with a Poppy and a Gragas and a Xin and a Galio, it's going to be even harder, and it becomes that question, as you highlighted in Draft, Kobe, can the Jarvan actually lock the Zyra down? The flash is about to come off cooldown for Gumayusi. Both neutral objectives are alive. It's T1 that set their sights on the Herald, and they're going to be the ones to start this objective off.
Now they will begin it. They have the vision control around there as well. You can see Knight pushing in the bottom side, does have the TP. He's also the only gold lead on his team right now.
A few more seconds until Knight's TP is available. It looks like that they are just going to concede it as the bot side of the map becomes BLG's priority. Tier 1 going to be happy to secure the Herald and the top Tier 1 as well. No one could really gain purchase on the mid wave as it's just cleared out by Elk and Zeus. But Tier 1 do have a tempo advantage here, and they're looking to keep the pressure on top side.
Top side objectives have been turned so quickly into tower gold during this series. They're looking to do it again.
Knight's still working his way through that bot side. Tier 1 will now take it, then TPs to try and save the Tier 2 in the top side. Rift Herald was not put down by T1. They just disengage as soon as they see that teleport used, that investment from BLG. They'll happily take it. Zeus is catching the wave in the bottom lane, so T1 not losing any gold on the map either.
Yeah, BLG feeling like they need to invest Knight's teleport to deny that big influx of gold from one of those side lane secondary turrets to try and stop that snowball that has been so prevalent. Allows them to push right back out here for Bin, as well as Elk taking care of the wave in mid too. Some critical income for them.
One of the things we were very excited about coming into this game was Bin versus Zeus, but Tier 1 have actually put Gumayusi versus Zeus for the vast majority of this game. And remember that given that Elk has been so far behind, he's been either playing into the Galio or he's been playing into the Gragas. And Zeus has quietly built up a very healthy lead for himself. Just a few moments ago, he was about 1k gold ahead. Now that he's back out onto the map, he's spent that gold. And Bin yet to actually complete his first item. Let's see if this back will secure it for him. And there it is. So now the Trinity Force finished for Bin. He's going to feel a lot more confident as we get closer to these mid-game fights.
Still about 1,000 gold lead for T1. A Drake piece, Hex Tech to T1, Infernal to BLG. The Grub's advantage as well with that Rift Herald in pocket means that T1 do have the pressure advantage on the map. They want to push in like this. They'll take a Tier 2 in the top side with 3 towers to 1 in their favor.
Yeah, I think BLG here, just keep Elk in mid lane here where it's nice and safe with your outer tower still up. Farm up with the Static Shiv on the Kai'Sa. Keep on farming till he can at least get his second item here. And then they can try and look to actually contest. Little cheeky steal away attempt here on the blue, should be good.
You can feel the tension, 3-2 in kills. 2K the gold lead for T1 after securing that top tier 2. The fact that Elk still finds himself very far behind is definitely a point of concern, but in terms of XP, he's been able to accelerate, actually get ahead of Guma, because T1 have been playing so much around their AD carry to put pressure on the map. Base is going to be interrupted there by Carrier, but BLG quite happy to play this game slowly for now. They're not in any real risk. The Baron is still 2.5 minutes away. What's crucial is that they get items on Elk and that he can have impact in these later fights.
Put pretty drastically behind in the early game. So the gold, it fluctuates between about 1.5 to 2K between the two teams, which BLG will be happy enough with considering how the early game went. Faker lying in wait here to see if Knight oversteps. Knight just wants to push out the wave and then get himself back to base. Bin pulling the wave across a little bit here, but with the Counter-Strike he will just start to push this one towards T1 again with 2 minutes on the Baron and 2 minutes on the Cloud Drake. Expectation is everything will calm down over these next 2 minutes until we start to see that vision play begin to be established for the neutral objectives.
Yeah, BLG doing their best to clear out the deep vision that was left behind by T1. Whenever you're retaking the opposite side of the map, you have to be so careful clearing out those wards. So they are good at getting off these very quick flank plays. Careful to use for that cryo mid. Charge won't be enough to take the whole tower, just a nice little chunk there, soften it up.
Bin does have a tower in that top lane that he can start to pressure towards. You can see Zeus working his way up towards that, but I think Bin with enough time should be able to just chunk that tower down. It will be BLG's second of the game. Zeus there to respond. Shen pathing towards top as well. The pressure perhaps towards them, but it's this game of this ebb and flow where Faker pushes out bot, he then goes into the fog of war, Knight has to answer, so BLG realize, well, we can't force a play because Faker's always going to be able to respond first. Knight answers the bottom side, then TP's back in, so now BLG have the impetus to put a bit of pressure back down onto the map.
I mean, Faker recognized the TP came out of mid, immediately pings back towards bot, wants to push out another wave, says someone has to come and catch this. It's Bin that's going to be forced to go back to base to head towards bot because he's the one that has his TP available. They're going to send Knight now over to the top side of the map, but the problem is you've now got your TP-less mid laner on the top side with Dragon spawning in 30 seconds. So with the push that they've been able to get on bot, Faker gets a quick base off and he's already back out onto the map. T1 are going to have set up for this Dragon, and I feel like BLG's just going to force to concede it.
Yeah, BLG, they need to open up the map more so they can start to make use of some split pushing and some Kai'Sa ultimate follow-ups. And so they do have everybody hovering on top side. They were thinking about trying to finish off that outer tower. They don't want to overextend too early for it, though.
I think that they should commit to it, though. T1's obvious play next should be towards the Dragon. They've set up good vision towards it, and Knight knows that he doesn't have TP and he's on the top side of the map. They will spot out Faker as Bin and Zeus go back and forth on the trades, but you're seeing how effective this Gragas is.
Cosmic Drive Fimbulwinter is doing a lot of work here. They get the knockback as well. Carrier with the steadfast presence position is here to try and help out his top laner. That Fimbulwinter Cosmic Drive combination is causing a lot of headache for Bin.
That and the phase rush, some very useful tools for Gragas to always keep you at arm's length or belly's length in his case. Meanwhile, Knight did end up finishing off that outer tower, that extra gold that they wanted in payment for the Dragon. So they still got a bit of what they wanted. BLG kind of giving up the minimum amount here in order to still get some trade back.
Ultimately, yeah, I think it's the best trade for them rather than try and force the fight around the Dragon at this point in the game, especially when you know that Elk still hasn't even completed his second item. Meanwhile, Gumayusi, Infinity Edge. Such a powerful item spike for the Zion.
Elk just finishes his Ginsu's, as you say that statement, Betty. There is 2 items on the Kai'Sa, but she scales up so well as the game goes on. When they get towards the time when that W is just artillery more than anything else.
And there's so many things that he has to consider when he's going in for it. You know, he's playing against, like you said, the Poppy plus Galio plus Xin Zhao and even Gragas. So BLG definitely going to be looking to control some vision first so that actually they can be the ones to try and set up some picks.
Now, in game 4, you said with confidence that you don't expect the game to end in 27 minutes. I feel like this game isn't going to end in 27 minutes with how tense it's been so far, with clear win conditions laid out for both sides. The 4th dragon of the game is where I expect a lot of action to be happening. In the meantime, both teams are prioritizing farming, looking for outer objectives, and ideally, if either one of them could break open that mid tower, that would be great. But in terms of the siege, I think that it's not easy for either side, given the amount of wave clear that they do have. But that point of tension continues to build up as both of these teams fight for that crucial edge to help determine who will be the 2024 World Champ.
For Elk, for On, for Shun, for Knight, it's their first time here in a Worlds final. Knight has fallen short a couple of times in the past for T1. Obviously, they were here last year. They've been here 3 years in a row. Weren't able to win it in 2022, but in 23, they dominated Weibo. They dominated the LPL. And I should say down 4 teams in that year, and now, 3 teams in that year, now alongside that top esports, looking to add BLG as a name to that list, but BLG have not lost a best of 5 versus T1. They just haven't played them at Worlds before, and here we sit 23 minutes in on a knife edge between these 2 titans.
Reminder how close BLG was without Knight. The whole idea behind bringing Knight into this roster was to help push them over the edge, to give them that last bit of power needed to get them to where they are today. They've ultimately built this roster to get to this point against, as Azael said on the desk, possibly the greatest roster that League has ever seen in history with their continued international dominance.
Meanwhile, the T1 roster here. Legends already with making 3 World Finals in a row, looking to win 2 back-to-back. And we get the side lanes traded. Jax on bottom side, Galio on the top side. Mid lane waves traded back and forth as we just build and build to this crescendo of pressure in our final game of the year.
It's crazy that it's all come down to this. So many comfort picks on both sides. The Sunlit Sky now finished for Bin. 2 items finished for him. Junglers starved of gold a little bit, as we often see at the highest level. If they could secure that 2nd item ahead of this crucial fight, that would be absolutely huge. Both now fighting for vision. Resets come through for Zeus. He's making his way back out onto the map. Has the arm guard, a crucial pickup, providing a little bit more durability and just time-wasting potential in the upcoming team fight. Dragon a minute away. We get ever closer to that crucial objective. Arm guard also finished for Knight. Bot wave pushed in. Elk not yet completed that Nash's Tooth, meaning he's not quite at the point of that consistent poke that we often see from the Kai'Sa.
He's almost there. Has the blasting wand, has an amp tome as well. Gumayusi on the other side, sitting on a Zeal alongside his IE and the Essence Reaver. It feels like one of those games where a single fight's going to decide it, you know? As soon as a team starts snowballing, it's a Drake into a Baron, into a few towers, into a gold explosion. And I think that's why we see both teams so tentative about making that play. Obviously, no neutrals really up apart from the Baron for them to fight over right now, but there's a lot of this bouncing waves back and forth without really finding purchase.
And the first step before T1 can go take this dragon is they have to secure vision on the Baron. Because of the Rage Blade being completed for Kai'Sa, you can actually burn through Barons and neutral objectives very quickly. And so that's why we just saw these last like 30 seconds, 40 seconds of T1 really trying to make sure that they will have an early alert system if BLG try and do a cross-map play on them.
Bin ticking over to level 15. Zeus sticking around very deep in the bot lane because he's got full information as to where all 4 of the members of BLG are. Poke back and forth over the control wards, but the vision will be denied from T1.
Critical defense of their vision here from BLG.
And then T1 immediately fight back. They reclaim control over that space. Control ward still sitting in the inventory of Keria, but crucially, none left for BLG. I'm sure On would love to get a quick reset off, but I don't know if he's going to be given the time to do so. Pings coming down from the side of T1 of the bot side jungle.
Zeus finds On, Shadowing Strike going in, the crash down as well. Bin looking for the follow-up here onto Zeus, the hero's entrance, and On just oversteps. Gumayusi sends him back to the fountain, and now BLG have to play a 4v5 if they want to try and contest. I think their decision will be not to. They'll just back away, clear out their own jungle, but On went in on Zeus, and T1 immediately collapsed.
Again, T1, they're so confident, and we're like, they've got the Galio ult to back them up. Zeus is very tanky. They were not worried for a second during that pick. On definitely bit off way more than he could chew, and that is a 100% sacrifice of the Dragon, of the objective. Critically, it is just putting T1 to that sole point, and not breaking the game quite yet.
Gumayusi picking up the Phantom Dancer, immediately swapping it over for the Navori Flicker Blade. Help securing that kill, giving him a nice injection of gold. You can hear the support from T1 from the crowd. The BLG supporters ever present in the arena as well.
You have to believe that T1 are very confident in their team fight and their strong setup here.
I mean, why wouldn't you with how strong Gumayusi is?
And so that's why maybe you see BLG wanting to rush into some picks whenever they see anyone, because they do kind of feel that unspoken mounting pressure facing them.
You can feel as well, just kind of on the map, how T1 is slowly but surely beginning to gain more control. BLG feels like that they're being pushed back even further onto their side of the map. And T1 remaining calm. Of course, this game is far from over just yet. That deciding fight is yet to happen. All summoner spells are available for everyone on the Rift, TPs included. The next Dragon still a ways away. After T1 secured that mid-tier 1 from BLG, the Baron becomes a very scary point of contention for both sides.
How exciting is it that our entire year of professional League of Legends is going to be condensed down to presumably a big fight now to break open the entire series and determine the world champions.
It's just absurd. And for the players down there as well, that weight on your shoulders.
I'm nervous and I'm not even playing.
It's just monumental. It's not just you, it's not just your team, it's your fans, it's your family, it's your region that have supported you through thick and thin. And
Oner, very close here.
Pressure on you, Shadowing Strike going wide. Shun tries to dash across the wall, but immediately he's locked up, goes in with the Cataclysm. Gumayusi pops the Feather Storm. Oner looking to re-engage onto On. Shun down to half HP. Bin gets into the back line. Gumayusi cleanses away the Bin. Has already put him in the dirt. Kevy is next up. BLG find 2. T1 able to back away from him, but the TP behind by Bin as he looks for a little bit more.
Oh, they go back in!
Faker flashes in, and down goes Knight! Once again, when you need someone, when you need anyone to stand up and show just what this game's all about, it's Faker! He finds another T1 5-5, and alongside it, the Baron in their minds!
The hero's entrance was true to its name as Faker in T1's dire moments descends from the sky, and T1 turned the fight in their favor.
The crown may be heavy, but it belongs to Faker, and they're gonna pick up the Baron. What a turnaround! BLG had started out so well. They killed Gumayusi. They had them on the run, but the turn from T1 was better.
The flank that comes in from Bin to follow up the engage from Jun, and crucially you're gonna see a charm come through from Knight that forces Gumayusi's flash. You think that the combination between Knight and Bin is enough? Taking out Gumayusi should have been the key. So look, the ultimate comes in from Shun onto Gumayusi. He's gonna ulti because he has no choice, he has to in this situation. And then the charm from Knight there forces the flash from Gumayusi. Bin sees the angle, so he flashes, sidesteps the knockback, and he's able to work with Elk to get the kill. And at this point you think the fight is over.
Exactly, then they're on the chase. Knight goes, he just barely doesn't have the range on his charm onto Oner, and they're teleporting for the pincer, but just as they're teleporting and Bin has to walk back to the fight, that's when T1 turned.
Such fantastic play and such confidence. The TP, the awareness from T1 to realize that that TP was a mistake, and then to create the collapse to turn it in their favor. Unbelievable turnaround from T1.
Teleport, the 4-second channel time, and T1 strike. Wait a second, topside, Zeus under fire!
Zeus caught killer instinct in by Elk. BLG collapsing, 4 members strong, the heroes entrance.
Oh, Zeus!
Faker joins the fight! Elk with the stopwatch, Faker in the middle of them all, and it seems like death may have arrived, and his name is Faker! He's here for your lives! The rest of T1 T1 beginning to collapse. Faker's going to fall as he pops the stopwatch, manages to buy himself a second. Oda here to save his mid laner once again. And Faker still stands. He has ascended. He stands above it all. And he looks hungrily at that world's trophy.
The unkillable Demon King, unkillable one more time.
Unbelievable once more. How does he keep doing it? I mean, with the Baron buff, 4 members dead. It's only Knight left to defend his base. His crumbling kingdom at the hands of T1. An inhibitor will fall, and T1 set their sights on the Nexus.
Knight goes in with the Spirit Rush, lands the charm as well. The first Nexus tower's fallen, and T1 are just looking for the prize. They're hungry for it. T1 are the past, the present, and the future. A new era, the same empire. T1 are your 2024 World Champions.